Hi, this is Jay from JWINK Reviews. I am reviewing today the iPad Pro 9.7-inch tablet. This is the 32 gigabyte version that's both Wi-Fi and cellular. The Apple bandwagon with these tablets, but I'm basically a new user with Apple tablets. I'm not one I would consider an Apple fan or of their products. I mean, I've liked the old iPod Classics, and I still use one. And I have both an Apple phone and an Android phone, but I've always kind of preferred the Android operating system in terms of phones and even with their tablets. So this is a first for me with the iPad tablet. I happened to find a great deal on this, and this is the reason I got it. But now, included with the tablet, it's pretty bare bones. It only basically, you get a wall plug and a lightning cable with it, and of course the tablet itself. As I said, this is a 32 gigabyte version, but they make several other versions of this particular size, with more memory, of course, at a higher premium. In addition to a 12-inch version and now the new 10.5. And again, this is the 9.7-inch version tablet. And like I said, I've never been one that's been a huge Apple fan that just had to buy Apple products. But I do like, even though I wouldn't consider myself a fan, the one thing that I think Apple does well over anything else is the design of its products. It has a sleek, stylish chassis that's both sturdy, and well made. And it's an overall nice looking device. I mean, they make all their devices pretty. They put quality into the design, that's for sure. Now, one thing that I have early on as a complaint about after using this or getting this is a complaint that I have with a lot of Apple and Android phones currently is that this does not have any type of external SD memory slot. Now, the one good thing about this particular iPad is that external memory can be added using a lightning plug thumb device that, like, for example, SanDisk makes one, I believe, and there's some other brands. Although the downside of that, of course, is it takes the lightning port to do that. Or you can, these days you can get a wireless hard drive that to me is a cheaper solution than buying the more expensive iPads that have more memory. I think it's more cost effective solution than going for ones that have more memory. Now, this basically, of course, uses the Apple OS system that I don't personally think is as user-friendly as the Android operating system. But as time goes by and they make, version updates, most of the differences are now getting to be pretty subtle as each revision of each OS, whether it's Android or Apple, seem to kind of mimic the features of the competitors. I do like the cleaner look and more customizable nature of the Android OS, though, than I do the Apple. But most of the apps are pretty similar, in terms of what you can get and their abilities. Although I personally like the Google Maps better than the Apple version in terms of, comparing those different apps. Now, this particular Pro is lightning quick, and much faster than anything I've used as far as Android tablets are concerned. Although, to be fair, I've only had cheap, what I would consider budget, $100 or so, or $150 tablets versus, of course, this one, which is far more expensive. But I mean, it handles, anything I've ever thrown at it. Everything's quick and works quickly on the tablet and all that. It's very lightning fast, and I have no issues whether it's surfing the net, playing videos, music, Skyping, whatever. Now, I personally decided to get the Pro version over the regular iPad because I wanted to be able to use the different accessories such as the pen and a keyboard and that kind of stuff. That's a little bit makes this a little bit more what they consider their Pro version. Although I'm not sure the premium cost is worth that. Now I'm currently just using a generic, and I'll show on camera here, a generic keyboard with this. It's just a regular old Bluetooth keyboard. It's cheaper than the Apple version, and it works just fine. I also use this particular stylus that allows me to do things on the screen. That's just a regular old stylus as opposed to the pen, and that also works with no issues. But again, if you want to go with the Apple pen and the Apple keyboard, those are nice accessories, although they're expensive, I think. But now this particular tablet is both a cellular and a Wi-Fi. I use the Wi-Fi portion. I really don't use the cell portion. But the one thing that I've noticed about that is if you don't have a SIM card in this, you get a pop-up that pops up pretty frequently indicating no SIM card. I've sort of remedied this by turning off the cell signal in the settings, which helped kind of keep that away. But I still do get the pop-up from time to time saying something about no SIM card. I'm not really sure at this point how to make that completely go away, and since I'm not intimately familiar with the operating system as yet, I haven't found a way to make that completely go away. Now, again, I like this tablet. I like the design. It's lightweight. It's thin. It's easy to carry around, although I don't personally dare carry this around without a case. Which in this case I use that keyboard case because I could easily see this screen cracking if it's dropped. I mean, it's well made, but again, it's also fragile at the same time. And now because of that, I personally got the Apple Care, which adds another cost to the purchase of this device, but it gives you an additional warranty, a year of warranty, and covers replacement if you accidentally drop it, or get accidental damage. For something as pricey as this, I really think it's worth it in this case. Now, again, I'm showing here just basically a Google page, but the resolution of the display is sharp. It's easy to read. The apps are easy to see. The video's easy to see. Video's clear, and any print is clear. It's a very good screen. Now, although I personally don't really use this for picture taking, the camera is very good for both pictures and video. I use this regularly for Skype, and the video is sharp and clear. Now, the speakers with this I found are better than any tablet or phone I've used so far. I won't say they'll blow you away, but they're clear and loud considering their size. I personally use an external Bluetooth speaker for most home applications, home use. But the speakers are passable, that are in this when on the road. Battery life is pretty good with this, I think, at about 10 hours. Which is typical of a tablet this size in most major brands. Now, my one gripe really about Apple products is not about their quality, but their price. I do think their devices are a bit expensive, as well as the accessories. I happened to find a good deal on this particular one that I thought it was reasonably priced as compared to what the normal price, which is a range of $600 to $700 or more, depending on how much memory. But I do think these are a bit overpriced, as are most of the high-end tablets, such as Microsoft's and some of the others. Maybe now that the 10.5 versions are out of this tablet, maybe the price will become more reasonable with these as compared to the 10.5 inch version, because the specs are pretty comparable, really. And after using this for a while, and again, I'm not a longtime fan of Apple, I can really see why people like their products, as they're well made and nicely designed. They have some of the best designs in the market. Although I do think they're pricey, and some of the OS features or lack of, as compared to Android, which some of their features I like better, in their operating system. But overall, I think this is a great tablet, and I give it 4 out of 5 stars.